All right, welcome to Cafe Chronicles.
Hey,
Gerald,
thanks for having me, man.
Gerald
Wow.
McBride.
I'm here. This is so cool, man. I was just admiring this room. This is really nice.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, man, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you made a movie.
I did.
Yeah.
I made a movie. Can you
wrote
believe it?
You wrote it?
Wrote it, directed it. I produced it. I was executive producer.
Yeah.
I was catering. I was transportation. I did casting.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I did it.
No,
all.
I know.
I did
I was around for some of it.
Right. You were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you had a chance to see firsthand.
That's great. The rhythm.
The rhythm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Kind of walk me through when did it start? When did
the idea start?
Yeah.
Let's go way
Yeah.
back, like almost 17 years ago. One of my clients came to town and asked if I could take him to a hockey game. He's from Connecticut, and his son was playing for UMass. I said, sure, I'll take you to a hockey game. University of Michigan was playing UMass. So we get there, Ted, and it's sold out, 10,000 seats, man. Fans just going wild in there. But I look around, and I'm like, wow, I'm the only black guy in here. And, of course, there's no black hockey players on the team.
Right.
Man, not that I know of. And, man, it just kind of just aroused my curiosity, like, where are all the black people in this sport? And start doing some research, man. But right then and there, I was inspired to write a story. I had this idea. You know, I don't know if you do any writing at all, but those who are watching, if you're a writer, when you get an idea, it's like, man, you wake up thinking about it. You go to bed thinking about it. And that's how it was with this story. I could see this story being developed, and I knew it could turn into a movie. So I just started writing on notepads and kept writing. And
what was your idea? What were you aiming for? Like, do you remember back then? Like what you were thinking?
I was thinking about it being a movie, and from
about a black hockey team?
player. Yeah, exactly. So I had this story in my mind about a young black hockey player that kind of deals with racism, and he's got this chip on his shoulder. He sees his dad get killed by a white guy, and then he takes it out on the ice in a brawl, and he's kind of singled out by some opponent white players. And they just go at it on the ice, and he kind of gets the best of one and almost kills him, and is sentenced to several years in prison. And when he gets out of prison, he's assigned to a community center to teach young black kids how to play hockey.
Where'd you learn to skate like that?
Father taught me.
Good job, son. Any interest in playing with us?
Me playing with a bunch of white guys?
My father was murdered right in front of me.
Got you in here in the first place.
Got into a fight on the ice.
I didn't even think black people played hockey.
It's not a life sentence. Just trust God. Just have faith.
We spoke with an attorney, and we think we figured a way to get you out of here.
Hey, I'm looking for Olivia.
I'm Olivia. You must be Robert. I've always believed that people deserve second chances.
I think that you should start wearing this again.
For what, Grandma? For good luck?
You're gonna make the perfect coach.
Coach? Coach who?
You know black people don't play hockey. It's too cold in here. Then they told me you was coming out here to coach them. What you gonna teach them?
You Corey?
Depends on who's asking.
Heard you're a pretty good hockey player back in the day. We came here to see what's happening on the floor. Look at them skating to the rhythm.
We can win with something the other teams don't have, and that's the rhythm. The rhythm! The rhythm! The rhythm! The rhythm! Let's go! Let's skate, baby! Let's skate! Let's skate! Let's skate!
We are here live in front of Butzel Recreation Center in Detroit.
They're gonna tear down the building.
What are we gonna do about the championship game?
I don't know, we're gonna have to forfeit.
I gotta leave tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a championship game.
I know.
Coach Buck is not gonna be here for the game.
What happened to that whole family thing?
He sees all and he knows all. When you really open your eyes, you can see him involved in so many ways.
The rhythm! The rhythm! The rhythm! The rhythm! The rhythm!
So you thought about this 17 years ago.
I did. I thought about
you
this.
Just said.
Just what I just said. Right.
And that came out.
Exactly. And I just started developing the script over and writing it over and over and over again. But that was pretty much the premise of the plot. And so I just kept writing and, just adding, of course, when you have an idea like that, you just start adding more and more layers to the different stories. And finally, man, I got it where I thought the script was good enough to present to some friends of mine in Hollywood. And I'll never forget the first time I sent it off to a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name, but he sent it to his agent. And his agent marked up my script like a bad report card, man. He had all kind of red marks and zeros, and this doesn't make sense. And I was really discouraged, man. I remember really balling it up and thinking, okay, why am I wasting my time on this? But I would pick it back up, and I'll never forget, just kind of looking at that critique and taking some of the things that were actually good in that critique, because it wasn't all bad.
So did you have any experience writing scripts?
Well, I wrote
I
wrote a lot of radio and TV commercials, but never a screenplay. But what I did, after I started writing on notepads, I switched to Final Draft, and then I took some classes.
Final Draft is the software.
Software for script writes.
Right.
And so I got familiar with that. Took a couple of classes. Actually, I took a class by a writer by the name of Robert McKee. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah.
And he came into town and did a 2-day workshop, and that was life-changing. I learned so much in those 2 days, and just kind of went back to writing. And I was just kind of surrounded by a bunch of people and was able to get critiques. But I always knew what the story was going to be and exactly how I was going to get to each point and the different characters. And I just did the best I could, man, in writing it. Yeah.
That's most of the battle, knowing what you want, you knowing as the author.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's in your heart. I'll never forget sending it to a few people. And once I picked the script back up after, just getting critiqued and constructive, we'll call it constructive criticism. But just picking it back up and then continuing to write. And, for another couple of years, it's going on 10 years now that I have been working on the script. But I finally got it to a point where they were like, okay, we think you got something here. And I'll never forget getting a couple of meetings with a couple of Hollywood producers, but they never came to the table with the money. I had a couple of offers, and people wanted to put millions of dollars up. It was still pretty much a low-budget movie at $6 or $7 million. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, right.
And I just kept writing and kept pitching it and thinking I was going to kind of push this to Hollywood. I had no intentions of directing because I just didn't think I had the capability of doing that at all, and I just kept pushing it to Hollywood. And then COVID hits, and I kind of lost contact with those people out there who seemed to express an interest. After COVID, picked the script back up, continued to write. I went to another workshop in Texas. I spent a week there at a film workshop, which was amazing. It was at this ranch that was kind of like a Hollywood, like a movie set, except all the buildings were kind of like these biblical type looking buildings with the cobblestone roads, and but they also had a little town, but you would go there. And it was probably about maybe 15 students, and we had this crash course in filmmaking, writing, producing, cameras, you name it.
And directing.
Directing, everything, all in 1 week, crash course. And I learned a lot there and met a lot of great people. Anyway, I met one young lady who read my script while I was there and says that she was one of the instructors. She said, I think you got something here. I'd like to help you whenever you get ready to get this started. After I came back, what I decided to do was a trailer to help me pitch it. And that's what we did. She flew up from Texas, and we put a crew together and did some casting, and we put together our first trailer.
Was that when you were in Texas? Is that when you decided that you wanted to direct it?
Well, you know what? I had a little opportunity to direct there, and then when I directed the trailer, the short trailer,
right.
I was like, you know what? This isn't as hard as I thought it would be. And you know, the reason being, Ted, is because, you know, I do voiceovers, and I've been doing voiceovers practically throughout my whole career for 45 years. But I also taught a voiceover class, which is voiceover acting. So when I got out there on the set, it was pretty much the same thing. It's like, okay, here's the script, here's the words, but I need you to bring them to life. And that's the same thing it is. When
That's true. You are acting when you're doing voiceovers.
You're acting when you're doing voiceovers. And so I just really kind of applied all of those things that I had taught other people. And it was the same thing when I got out there on the set, man. It's like, okay, look, you cannot sound like you're reading. It needs to sound believable. It needs to sound conversational. And these are the same things that I've always told people when they're doing voiceovers. So anyway, we make the trailer. The trailer turns out really, really good. And I'm really starting to get, you know, some feedback from Hollywood and investors and so forth. And then all of a sudden, that just stopped. 2022, I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to step out in faith and do it myself, you know. And that's exactly what I did with no money. I had no money, Ted. And so here I am, January 2022.
Yeah.
I'm putting the cast together. I'm auditioning people. I'm putting my crew together. And they're looking at me like, you got the money, right? Well, they didn't really say that, but they're assuming that I got all this together. And I don't. February, I'll never forget being in church, and a guy walks up to me and said, hey, man, I hear you're doing a movie. I have red cameras that you can use. I'm like, what? Really? He says, yeah, don't even worry about paying me.
Red cameras?
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with red cameras, but the red cameras are some of the best cameras that they shoot movies with. And he had all the lens, all the tripods, everything that I needed to shoot the film with. So I had the cameras, I got the cast, I got the crew, I got the production crew, I got all the cameras. We started all our pre-production with locations and so forth. Then Karen and I, my wife, started looking to get some investors, so we started sending out proposals. But for some reason, we just did not feel comfortable with asking people for money with this risk that we were about to take, and we just couldn't get a piece about that. You know what I mean? So, but I'm still moving towards my date of starting to shoot, which was going to be May 15th. Is April now. I still don't have the money, and now we've decided that we're not going to use the investors. Which were just a couple who had said they were interested in putting money in for the movie. Now it's May, and I'm ready to shoot. Everybody's like, we're shooting May 15th. Yep, we're shooting May 15th. I still don't have the money. A week before, I get an email from the SBA saying you qualify for a loan, and that's what I shot the movie with.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's someone looking out for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's stepping out on faith. You know, when you start moving, you know, things start to happen, man. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So I get the money. I shoot the movie. We had planned to shoot for 30 days straight in Butzel Recreation Center on the ice. And I went through the money that I got from the SBA in that 30 days, and I only had half the movie done.
Jeez.
Right. But, you know, that was a good lesson for me because, you know, just this being my first time, like, for instance, to kind of give you an example, I would have 4 scenes scheduled to shoot, and the lighting guys would take, you know, half the day getting the lighting together. And, you know, I don't know if you've been through that before. It's like, so by the time they got it together, we end up only being able to shoot 2 scenes.
Right.
But now that I look back on it, I mean, the movie looks amazing because I had some great lighting guys who just were perfectionists and didn't want me to shoot anything until they got their lighting right. And I was okay with that because, you know, this work represents them too as well. So, yeah, 30 days, I got half the movie done. I'm out of money. But I got a chance to kind of go back, see what I shot. I got a chance to see where the holes were. what I needed to improve on. I went back and even wrote some more scenes after that, even added a couple of more characters. So it actually was a blessing in disguise. So, when I got a little bit of money, $2,000 or $3,000 here or there, I go back and shoot another scene, and this would go on for another year, because, I just didn't have a big lump sum of money. So when I got, a little bit of money here and there, I would just go back and do one or two scenes.
Did you shoot it all in Michigan?
I shot it all right in Metro Detroit. I sure did. Yeah. And another year later, the movie was completed, and then we spent another 9 months doing the editing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, Ted,
were you part of the editing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Every director needs to join hips with the editor. I mean, so we spent just hours on the phone. He was in Texas, so we did a lot of Zoom calls and looking at the footage. And so once you got all this footage, I mean, it's about for this particular movie, we were moving a lot of things around that weren't necessarily in that order in the script, but. Yeah, it was almost like putting a puzzle together.
Yeah, because you got to worry about like continuity and all that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely, which is very important.
Yeah,
and there's some things that got left on the floor too as well.
Yeah. On the cutting room floor.
Yeah, but the other thing was a lot of scenes didn't get shot either. I mean, so the script was a lot longer than the actual movie is because I ran out of money, so I had to kind of make the story work with what I had. So, yeah.
Wow. Did that bother you?
Not really. I mean, for instance, the judge scene. I don't know if you remember that. It's I had to cut that.
The judge scene was the scene that I was in.
Yeah, I remember.
I was the judge, and that was left on.
I remember you were telling me about that.
But we were able to make it work. Yeah. I mean, but there were several scenes like that. I mean, I don't want to give it away because once you watch the movie, I don't want you to, think that, he took some shortcuts here, but I did. I mean, I did. I took a lot of shortcuts but the story came out really well.
Yeah. Now you've been to a number of film festivals, correct?
I've been to 2 so far. Yeah. So we won Best Film at the Waco Film Festival.
Congratulations!
And 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to be at the International Christian Film Festival in Florida, and that went really well. We were just one of the featured films. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. So you get a chance to test it out with some people and see if they really like it. And we also did 2 weeks in the theaters at Imagine Theaters back in June of 2024. And we did 2 weeks, and we had over 3,000 people come to see it. So we did Detroit, we did Flint, Minneapolis, and Dallas, and that went real well. Yeah,
that's excellent.
Yeah. So man, you really kind of. You do something like this and you bite your nails while people are watching. You're wondering whether or not they're going to like it. But the response has been really, really good. Really good.
And, I mean, it's got to be time-consuming, too, right? Because you got to, you have all this on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to live your life.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you think about it, man. I have a full-time job, so even writing the script, I can. That's probably why it took so long because I could only write in the evening.
Yeah.
After spending all day, making radio commercials and doing my radio show, and so I wouldn't get to the script until 8, 8 or 9 at night, and maybe work till I, on the script until I got sleepy. So it that's why. But can you imagine though if I was just doing that full time every day, working on the script every day full time, and I could probably crank out a lot of movies. but I had to do what I had to do to get this one done. Yeah.
So this is coming out May 16th.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. May 16th on Apple TV, Google Play, and Amazon Prime. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. And the process, man, of getting a distribution deal, that's a whole nother learning experience. So I'm just glad I had the opportunity to wear all these different hats, to learn every different aspect of this business.
Because you're learning as you go, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a crash course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, and then you have the test. Like, okay, will the people really like it?
Yeah.
So we'll see once it airs coming up this weekend on Apple TV. Yeah.
How did you find your actors?
Just locally. I went through a talent agent for some. Some of the people I knew, just word of mouth. And man, the talent that I have in this movie, they were just seemed like they were just handpicked by God.
Yeah.
I mean, just each one of them just really seemed to fit the role, and they were just great people to work with. And I have to tell you one other story. So here I am trying to cast, and I'm talking to the agency like, okay, can you help me find some African American actors, kids, teenagers who can play hockey? And they looked at me like I was crazy. Where do you think we're going to find black kids, actors who can play hockey? And so, I mean, I've got like 4 or 5 roles in the movie that I had to fill with, with hockey players, teenage hockey players. And so what I did, I went to an organization called Detroit Ice Dreams that actually plays hockey right there in the inner city at Butzel, on the corner of Linden and Myers. And I asked the director, I says, what kids do you think have a personality that might be good actors? And she suggested about 3 or 4 kids, and that's what you see in the movie. And Ted, you'll be surprised of the kids in the movie that they have never acted before, that this is their debut. I mean, they did an amazing job. Amazing job. Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So I'm very proud of them. I don't know if they want to pursue a career in acting, but
they have fun.
They had a great time. They had a great time. That was, it's probably one of the most challenging things is keeping a bunch of kids together, when you tell them, okay, we got to shoot, and then they're skating all around. Hey, can you guys stop? Stop. Come over here. Slow down. We need to shoot this scene. That was a little frustrating.
Plus, you got to do scenes over and over, right?
And then we had to
Sometimes.
do scenes over and over and again.
Yeah.
But, they were very cooperative. They were getting paid. Everybody got paid.
Yeah.
I probably had over 150 people in this movie when you think about it with with people in the stands and,
Yeah. You had some music hall staff too, right?
I did. Let's see, did I? Maybe in the stands, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know. I thought Angelo and
oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know where, but
you got to watch it. You going to watch it this weekend?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you'll point them out. I'm not going to tell you where. You have to look for it. But, yeah, they did a great job. They actually are in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to share this with you. So they are in the scenes, and then I had a bunch of other guys, and some real Detroit stuff in the movie, and one of the hockey players in the movie, the teenage kid, he lives with his uncle, and his uncle is a drug dealer, and he's trying to tell him like, look, you could be making money here in the streets. Why are you wasting time playing hockey? But the kid really loves the game. But anyway, in one of the scenes, I had to gather a bunch of guys on a porch, kind of hanging out like they do in Detroit, in one of the 2-family flats. And I don't know who got me these guys, but they were really rough looking. It's like they're on the porch smoking weed and drinking. I'm like, man, this is real. This really looks real. I mean, that's what I was looking for, but I didn't expect it to be that real. Yes. I was like, yeah, we got to get this scene done.
Yeah.
When you'll see what I'm talking about when you see the movie, though. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you about the music. What did you do for the music in the movie?
Well, with a limited budget, with this being a small budget film,
did you have like someone?
Well, this is what I did. I used for the score music. Most of it came from a service that I had always been using for music for commercials. So I told them I was doing a movie, and they were like, "Okay, that's cool. It's part of your agreement." And like stock music, the stock music companies, and they provided me with some really cool music, man, throughout the movie. And then I have about 3 or 4 songs that were done by some friends of mine, and that just donated their songs for the movie. So yeah. Yeah. It all worked out, man.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a long journey, 17 years in the making.
That's crazy.
And finally, it's coming out on Apple TV, Google Play, and Amazon Prime, May 16th. May 16th.
Yeah, and you're doing a showing too, right? On the 16th?
Yeah, I'm doing a showing too. Yeah, we're going to do a little streaming event at the Birmingham 8. You coming? You haven't seen it yet. Are you going to be able to come Friday night?
I maybe.
Okay.
If I can, sneak out of here.
Oh, yeah.
We got a show that
Yeah,
night.
right. Well, it's just an hour and 38 minminutes.
Yeah.
You'll be back before the show is
Right.
over. Yeah, you can step out for a minute.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I got to sneak out.
Right. Yeah.
So, hey, before you go, so the podcast is called Cafe Chronicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been asking every guest to chronicle a time that you were at the cafe that you can remember, like a moment that something like sticks out.
Oh, golly. Ted, I hung out at the cafe a lot, man.
I know.
Oh, my goodness.
Just something that sticks out.
Could be good, bad, crazy, weird, anything.
Only good memories, though, at the cafe. But one in particular, I don't know if you were. Well, yeah, you were there when we did the tribute to Luther Vandross.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never forget the guy that I hired to do this tribute to Luther Vandross. His voice goes out backstage. You remember we're thinking, okay, now when you do an artist like Luther Vandross and everybody's just kind of glued, to this guy on stage, and like you have to hit everybody knows every note. Luther's Vandross is just one of those kind of artists. Like when he sings this song, he hits that note, and people are expecting the artist to do that. And I was so nervous. I'm like, man, this guy is going to miss it. I'm back there in the back just biting my nails like, oh, man, he's going to get booed. Can he hit this note? He pulled it off, though.
Yeah.
He pulled it off. But you remember that, huh?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah. I think that's
a
probably
dull moment here.
I know. I think that was my fondest memory of, the music hall in the cafe there. Yeah, doing that tribute to Luther Vandross. Yeah. Turned out good though.
Yeah.
Great place. I just love the vibe.
Oh,
there.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It sounds
acoustics.
great.
Acoustics are nice. Not too loud. I like it. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
All right, Gerald McBride, thank you so much for doing
man,
this.
Thanks for having me. I'm so sorry that your scene got cut out, man, but
I get it. It was fun doing it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got to wear the robe.
You
and the
did.
Glasses,
You did good. Man. I still have it if you want it, so I can send that to you.
Oh, the scene?
Yeah.
I would like to see it.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
But,
you gonna post it, and you
I might.
gotta post. Yeah.
Yeah. I might.
Right. Yeah. What would you say? This is the scene that I was going to be in.
Maybe I'll post it when I post this.
It's like I could have.
You can send it to me that quick.
Okay. Okay.
But I wish you the best of luck with this movie.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for having me.
All
Appreciate
right.
it, man.
Gerald McBride, thank you so much.
All right. I got to come back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have a book coming out. We have to talk about it. So
Yes.
okay.
Definitely.
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
All right, bye.